Welcome to the Bluebelt Model Railway channel. Today I decided to record a small video review. I'm sure, as many Bluebell followers will know, Bachmann has been producing quite a large station building of Sheffield Park, which is split into about 5 parts, I believe. A couple of years ago I also did the waiting room on platform 2, which, as you can see to the left. I also purchased this and we'll be looking at both of them today. I don't usually do reviews, mainly because most people just do a logo taken out of a box session, which I'm sure most of us who are intelligent enough can do that, and it's not really informative. So I decided to show you the pros and cons and what these buildings are like. Okay, I'll start off with the Scenecraft waiting room platform 2 building from the Bluebell Railway. This building still exists on the railway, albeit in a much extended state now, due to the Heritage Lottery Fund extending their museum and also adding a carriage shed behind it. As I said before, this building has been out for a few years now. Initially I don't think it sold very well, as they didn't seem to disappear very quickly and they were still hanging around a year later. I've only just started moving now. I saw on the website they were down to their last 8, which has taken a while to get rid of. There's been mixed reviews on this, from quality to how good they are and a few other various bits and pieces. As you can see, it's quite a nice building, nicely detailed canopy, and also the building is quite nicely detailed with posters and a few lamps, and also other furniture around the canopy which says platform 2, etc. The main issue I found with this building, and I think a few others did as well, they seemed a bit rushed. This may be due to the fact that they were brought out at the 50th anniversary a few years ago now, back in August, and the whole look of it, generally the painting looks a bit rushed. It looks a bit thin on the canopy supports. The paint looks thin, looks like it's only had 1 or 2 coats, and you can still see the resin through the paint. Also, some other people have noticed some cracks on theirs. Mine have got a few, mainly from the top right corner of the door window to the window across from it as well. So these do have a hallmarks of something which was rushed to get them ready to sell for the anniversary, which is a little disappointing, I must admit, but still it is a nice building. Nicely detailed on the front. The roof looks as it should, and the back, really. I'll just rotate it round for you to have a look. And there's the rear of the building. Nicely detailed chimney stack there, 2 windows on the back. It's all sort of tongue and groove wood panelling they've tried to replicate here. As you can see, the back and the brickwork looks not too bad. It looks fine. To the other side, you've got a window there. I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's a small crack going up from the support on the end there, and that's pretty much the story of most of them. They've all got little niggles and cracks, and I'm sure, as you can see as well on the support there, it doesn't look like it's been thoroughly painted properly, and could have done with a few more coats. But then again, they are a mixed bag. Some are okay, some are not. So, but this one's not too bad to ones I've seen. I can cope with a few cracks now and here and there, but It is a bit disappointing. I mean, these buildings are about 35 quid, I think, and that's almost the same price as the canopy on the new building, which is quite a lot of money for a canopy. These buildings are okay, a little bit of work, and they will turn out okay. Um, as I say, it's got a few cracks here and there, but they've been covered up. It's a few years old, as I say, but these are still available for about mid £30 range. Um, well worth it if you're doing a London, Brighton and South Coast line or station. But if you're a bit pernickety about the detailing and paints, or maybe you want to paint it yourself and change some of the colours on the building, I'm sure that won't be a problem. It'll probably help it a little bit. But generally it's quite nicely detailed. Okay, building number 2 in the Bachmann Scenecraft range is the main building at Sheffield Park. As you can see, it is quite a beast of a building, but I have to say, this attempt second time round at building off the Bluebell by Bachmann is really quite magnificent and very impressive. I'll take you through it. Basically, it is split up into 5 separate sections. You've got the storeroom on the far left, the main building in the middle, the two parts, the 2-storey part in the middle. You also have the toilets and the waiting room on the right here. The canopy is a separate part, which is priced around about £35. Signal box underneath, you can see there, is priced around about £13. The middle building, the 2-storey part, is around about 50 quid. The waiting room and toilet building on the right here is also around £50. The storeroom on the far left with the 2 doors, you can get that for around about £35. I've mixed and matched on a few of these items. 2 I bought from eBay, which were the cheapest, and the rest of it I bought off the signal box, which were the cheapest around. Obviously with these Bachmann Bluebell buildings, there is also sort of a donation attached to that which goes to the Bluebell itself. Overall, I think I paid around about £180 for all of this, which I know most have said it is a lot of money, but once you have it and you can see it, you know, it is really quite a nice building to have. That is if you're doing a London, Brighton and South Coast railway line or a station. Okay, we'll do this section by section, and I'll show you them in a little bit more detail. It's also quite probably worth mentioning that across the region of London, Brighton and South Coast, most of the buildings were the same, so this whole building is probably replicated on every single station, with a couple of alterations. You can probably see that on the Bluebell if you go from station to station. Kingscote, Horsley Keys and Sheffield Park, they all look pretty similar, with a couple of buildings not there or slightly smaller. Anyway, on to this building, which is based at Sheffield Park. This is the storeroom. As you can see, it's nicely painted, nicely detailed on the roof. All the tiles, all the ridge tiles in the middle are quite nice. The chimney stack is beautifully replicated there. Also, coming around the side here, if I move this one out of the way, you can see all the beautiful paintwork and detail on the end here, and that's sort of the same throughout the whole structure. Nicely detailed. This end piece is about £35 £5. Again, quite worth it, but again, quite a lot of money for a small building. On the rear of the storeroom you can see detail is continued, nicely painted, nicely presented brickwork. Also all the drains and gutters are nicely fitted there, a couple of steps up to the rear door there. Again, detail is beautiful and is a very nice building to have. Again, you don't have to buy all of these, as some people have said. You can just buy a couple. The whole thing is sort of designed so you can either add on to it or not, or have it as a couple of building structure. You can take them off and remove parts and make it smaller to suit your needs. Again, this part is £35 and that is the storeroom. Also part of the store building, you get a couple of pieces with it in a plastic bag. You'll get them with a few of the buildings, I think this one and the toilet block and the waiting room and also the canopy. In this bag we have a couple of bits. Now I wonder what they were for, but I sort of figured it out. Here you probably won't be able to see, but this is a small enamel sign with a timetable on it, and I suppose you can stick that anywhere you would like onto the building itself. Second part in the bag is this part. As you can see, it's got a brick texture on it, and it's obviously to fit into a corner to hide what are quite big gaps between each building, and I'll show you here. On this building here, which is the storeroom building, you can see it's butted up next to the main two-storey building, but you can see there's quite a gap there in between the two. The waiting room and toilet block, or the waiting room and the main block here I should say, the gap's even worse, to be honest. But as you can see, here is the bricked part, and if I just fit it in here, you can see it's sort of designed to eradicate the gap and hide it a little bit more. Well, I'll say a little bit more. There you go. That's sort of designed to hide it a little bit, as the canopy comes down to around a bit here and hides it. But that's the two parts what come with this building that help with it a little bit.